Hi, welcome back to Ask Lattice. Today we have a very special guest, Magnus Midtbø. And many of you will be very, very familiar with Magnus's videos on the internet where he has some pretty impressive training feats. He's climbed a lot of very, very hard routes and done some of the very hardest on-site sport routes in the world as well, all the way up to 8C+. And I think there's a really nice balance between performance on rock that Magnus does, as well as training. So first of all, welcome Magnus. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And we have today a load of questions that we put out to the fans on Facebook and Instagram. And I've got a list here of some serious and perhaps not so serious questions.
Okay.
So you ready to get straight in?
I'm ready.
Who was your best video collaboration that you've done on your YouTube channel and why?
I mean, I have to say Jujimufu, just because, I mean, they're really great. They're not climbers. Juji is a bodybuilder slash powerlifter slash a lot of different things. I mean, it's not all about subscribers, but the first time I went to the US, my subscribers went from 45,000 to 100,000. And then the second time it went from 120,000 to now 220,000. And even though it's not all about subscribers, that allowed me to make a living off of YouTube. And I feel very fortunate, and I feel like it's a lot because of them. So that was my greatest collaboration, because that allows me today to be like a full-time YouTuber.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. And actually, I've gone and watched those videos. Those are some of the ones that I've watched on your channel a couple of times actually. And it's actually pretty funny.
It's fun.
The balance between you as a rock climber and him as an amazing weightlifter, powerlifter, and the balance that you have between trying each other's stuff out. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And he's so different, you know. He's not the stereotypical bodybuilder, you know. He's not a meathead. He can do a lot of cool stuff, and his background is tricking, so doing like backflips and stuff. And he's a cool person to be around.
We had a question asking whether you've used any of the grip training stuff that Juji gave to you and suggested that you might incorporate into your training. Have you kind of incorporated any of that into what you do now?
I have. The only problem is I don't have there's a thing that you stack the weights on to be able to lift it. I don't have that yet.
So like a plate with a tube?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's called?
No, I don't know.
I don't either. But so what I've done so far is that I have like a hanging weight, and I strap it to the floor, and I pull, and I see it's a digital weight. So I see how much I pull. And that works well, but I'm gonna get one of those weight things. And they are starting a brand, Grip Genie. And actually I'm talking with them right now about being their first athlete for that. I don't know how relevant it is to climbing, but it's definitely a cool thing. And it's also fascinating to me to see how many different types of finger strength there are. Because on some of them I'll be really strong, but on others I'll be really weak. Especially those big things where you really need big hands.
What's he like on small holds when he climbs? Does he struggle a little bit? Because he's a big guy, isn't he?
He's a big guy. He's 240 pounds. Yeah, no, he's a little bit too heavy for climbing.
But powerful? In the arms and shoulders?
Yeah. If you give him a jug, he'll rip it off the wall.
I bet. Yeah.
But it's fun, like, because I tried in one video. I tried to be almost his weight. I put on like 2 weight vests and like those ankle weights and stuff. So I was 106 kilos, and it was so hard. Like I could do 6A plus 6B, but nothing harder.
Route climbing or bouldering?
Bouldering with that weight.
Wow.
And I could like easily campus the same problems, but I couldn't climb it with that. It was an added 30 kilos or something.
Yeah.
So just,
Yeah, pretty interesting, isn't it?
Pretty interesting, yeah.
So going to kind of all the way from grabbing the biggest holds and the largest stuff on the wall, all the way through down to the smallest stuff. We've got another question from someone here asking about the pinky monos trick. Yeah. And hanging by just your little finger. And I think a lot of people have seen some of the videos that you've done with that. Yeah. And they wanted to ask, how did you do that? How do you get into it?
I don't know. It's just weird stuff that I've seen. Like growing up, I think I saw Danny Andrada doing that, like the pinky pull-up.
Like in a sling, wasn't it?
In a sling, yeah. And it's just something that I always wanted to be able to do myself. I don't know. It's just a cool party trick, really. It's great for Instagram too.
I don't think it's very relevant to climbing.
It's not relevant to climbing at all.
Like I've tried it with in the Beastmaker monos and doing the front lever, and both Pete and I were surprised that it wasn't as bad as you think. And I always see this as being some kind of, the most hardcore test ever of finger strength, but I'm not convinced.
That's the thing. It's the same with one finger pull-ups. They're not much harder than one hand pull-ups to me. I don't know. You're not pulling with the finger. You're pulling with the arm while hanging from one finger. And it's kind of the same with the front lever. You're hanging from two pinkies and you're doing a front lever. It's not like you're doing a front lever with your pinkies. No.
And half the time it's about loading the tendon right across the finger, and there's tricks to how you actually hang on the mono, so it makes a big difference. Okay, next question is how did you transition from doing really hard moves on 2 or 3 finger pockets all the way down to single fingers? Was it just something that came naturally, or did you make some kind of progression in your climbing or training?
Actually, it's kind of a funny story that I never told, but...
All right, yeah, go on.
I'm not that kind of story, but no, it was at a youth competition, a European Youth Cup in Annecy. In the final, I wasn't able to do I think it was either a mono or a 2-finger pocket move that I wasn't able to do. And I fell really early in the finals. So I just made it like a goal of mine to be stronger at pockets, because before then I wasn't strong at pockets. So I trained it in my basement in my house. I trained pockets. I had those slings, and I just did a bunch of pull-ups off of those. And I had the hangboard, and I would just do a bunch of pull-ups from the 2-finger pocket just to make sure that mistake never happened again.
That's really interesting you say that, because I've heard that exact same story across a number of really good climbers over the years. Yeah. That early on in their climbing careers, they had one kind of setback where they got quite upset about something that they didn't do very well, and they went away and they really worked it. Yeah. And you obviously did the same.
I think so, at least. That's what the route setter told me also, that my pocket game was not very strong, and I was just like, okay, well, I need to do something about that then.
Yeah, and then you showed him what's what after the year afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, another question.